This is all you can do if you only have 48 hours to travel to.
It begins with thorough preparations, a mathematician's precision, a fully charged camera, and an insatiable hunger for unique adventures. Limited to just 48 hours, our destination was New Orleans, a vibrant city echoing with rich history, soulful jazz, captivating mysteries, and unparalleled energy. Advanced planning is essential, from programming to reservations. Apps like Viator and Capital One Travel simplify ticket bookings and help streamline itineraries. Every minute became precious, and maximizing every second turned into a rewarding challenge. The key is to plan and let yourself go. We arrived very early in the morning from here, scheduled our flight, and arrived in New Orleans around 11 a.m. Once we arrived at the airport, we looked at all the transportation options we had. I want to highlight that New Orleans has many public transportation options, but the Ubers from the airport are relatively cheap and much more comfortable and fast. Upon our arrival at the hotel, we did the press checking and then, relaxing our adventure, it began with a lunch at the En Truenos restaurant inside the Intercontinental Hotel. Hotel group in New Orleans that I invite you to watch that video. A delicious proposal of Cajun and Creole cuisine ideal to start with the Logar flavor and of course mimosas. Then we went for a walk through French Power, the soul of New Orleans, colorful streets, balconies full of flowers and that sound of already floating in the air. Of course, in addition to jazz, there are many bars on Bourbon Street in which you can jump from one to another and drink in every New Orleans. It's one of the few cities where you can drink on the streets. Keep that in mind here. In the afternoon, the most awaited moment arrived, the Gus Tower. In shadows and ancient alleys, I heard stories of ghosts, vampires, and haunted houses. A creepy but fascinating experience with our guide, everything very well organized. And these guys do get into their role. Keep in mind that the guided tours are in English. And besides, English with a southern accent, somewhat complex to understand. The evening ended with dinner at Moriales in front of Jackson Square, an elegant restaurant full of history, where they even say that the ghost of its former owner still haunts the place. Spoiler, this was my favorite dinner of the entire trip. I could have sworn there was something divine about my steak. The second day began at the San Luis Cemetery, a guided tour where legendary figures such as Marie rest. La Bo, the queen of voodoo, walking among these ancient tombs is like traveling through centuries of history in Chile. Interesting fact, Marie Labu was nothing more than a healer who had to hide her medical skills because she was a woman, since at that time they understood more whether they were witches than whether they were nurses or doctors. And the so-called voodoo dolls were nothing more than the ones they used with pins to mark the parts of the body that had already been treated, which would be the clinical history of today. Interesting, right? Let me know in the comments if you already knew this curious fact. Then we visit the St. Louis Cathedral, an icon of the city, and in the afternoon, the impressive National Museum of World War II, one of the most moving and best designed in all of America. We also stopped by the Voodoo Museum. Small but full of curiosities about Afro-Caribbean spirituality that is part of the soul of the city. If you are Cuban or Dominican, you will recognize a lot of your own culture. In New Orleans, it feels strangely familiar. The day ended with dinner at Chemin à la Mer, a restaurant with a view of the Mississippi River and a sophisticated atmosphere. Then we walked down Frenchman Street, where the nights in the French Quarter really get going. For us living in Florida, it was somewhat peculiar, since the establishments are relatively humble and almost all close early, like 11-12 o'clock at night at the latest, but have a great time. At some point we felt a little insecure, but maybe it was just imagination because nothing happened to us at all. 48 hours seems short, but in New Orleans time multiplies between music, history, food, and magic. Every corner has a story, every paycheck, and every night a new reason to come back. I'm Monica, my friends, and this was my 48-hour tour of New Orleans. If you liked this video, like it, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. What do you think? Which of these places you would like to visit? First, because no matter how long you have in New Orleans, something always happens that makes you happy. See you in the next Chow Chow adventure.